So I have a few trains of thought that I want to dig into for today's coaching sermon. Number one, for those of you who are arriving into the year and you have fragments of clarity, but there's still gaps that need to be filled, inside the Magic Mind, there is a course right here called, no, that's not the one. It's Make Your Magic Business Plan. And it's right here in the sidebar, or right here, Write Your Magic Business Plan. This is a 5-day thing. Um, the first one is the Thriving in Business Without Social Media workshop to just get you oriented to how to grow your business without social media. If you've seen that, then you probably don't need to rewatch it. The next one is around telling your origin story. So, one of the pieces that are going to support people to resonate with you is how you tell your stories, how you tell the stories of people that you've worked with. So, that workshop is going to help you to understand my story and then go through your own story writing process to tell your origin story for a bio, your website, as well as for a nurture sequence and blog content as you go, because all of you have amazing stories and those stories need to be told. Because better than giving people tips and facts and all that sort of stuff, which they could just go grab from ChatGPT about anything that they're struggling with, you telling your stories is what creates resonance and trust. The next one, the future self, is a visioning process. So it is one of my most popular meditations across all the platforms that I'm on. It's about a 30 minutes visioning process that helps you to really open yourself up to the longer term vision that you're being pulled towards. And then that next one, as you've opened to the vision, is like, okay, now how do we logistically plan the business and execute on that vision? And so that's going to help you make a business plan, not in a traditional sense, more in a magical sense, so that you understand what you're actually moving towards, so that as you're moving forward with your business plan, you know what's in alignment and out of alignment with where you want to go, so that you can be more discerning of how you're allocating your time. And then the last one is just once you've gone through the process, it's an opportunity to just like, let's brainstorm and look through this and get some questions answered around like, okay, here's the plan. Where do I start with all these pieces that I'm trying to figure out? So I will post the link right here for all of you to that. If you haven't done it, you're probably going to spend about an hour on each of those lessons. And it's kind of like taking a step back before you charge forward, just to make sure that, if we're looking at the many possibilities as a mountain range, and there's one specific mountain we want to get to the top of, it's important to make a plan and to map our course so that we don't run up the wrong mountain. Know what I mean? Makes sense? Okay. So the other piece that I wanted to um, dig into today is just, you're gonna hear me harping on this all year long, but relationships, relationships, relationships. Um, it's been quite the reorientation of my energy and focus to be putting my attention mostly on Magic Kids right now. From writing blog content to reaching out to partnerships. Instead of reaching out to Signature Workshop partnerships for Magic Media business, I'm reaching out for all sorts of different types of partnerships and building partnership decks and all that sort of stuff for the Magic Kids world that we're building. And it feels really exciting to just be putting the focus in there. And so for all of you, what you're focusing on, just remind yourself every single day that like this is your dream. This deserves as much attention as you can possibly give it. And it's going to require you to look curiously at every relationship that comes into your field and into your life, to figure out and orient yourself to like what is the magic sweet spot where your gifts can be received, where there's a leverage point within each of these connections. And so, whether it's for your signature workshop, whether it's how you're beginning to connect with clients, whether it's looking for strategic partnerships or collaborators to co facilitate an experience for people, all of these things require a whole lot of curiosity. And so, as I'm going through the process, like the other day, I spent probably 2 or 3 hours reaching out to daycare chains for Magic Kids. And so I created a pitch for these daycare chains. And the pitch is looking clearly at Here's what you do. Here's what your organization's ethos is. This is your whole mission and purpose. Here's a gap that I see for you. A lot of these organizations, as I dug into it, are using Spotify for, story time in the afternoon and that sort of stuff. And so the opportunity for these organizations is a licensing bundle for Magic Kids where all of these high quality curated audio stories can come. And so as you're reaching out to your partners that you want to approach and people that you're interested in, one is like understanding with clarity what are your intentions for this relationship. It's great to go in with clear intentions. Write that shit down. Know what your intentions are. Here's my purpose for this potential relationship is I'm looking for strategic partners or I'm looking for fellow collaborators. And once you've stated the intentions, here's where I see alignment. You're doing this. This is your focus. This is who I see you serving. And this is what I do. And this is the services I offer. And this is how I transform people's lives. And here are some synergy points between where we have leverage. So you're bringing complementary skill sets, you're bringing a unique point of view, you're bringing a new set of transformational tools that aren't necessarily covered inside of the ecosystem of the partner that you're approaching, etc. You need to get clear on like reiterate what they do and what they say they do, what you see, what you do, and then here's the synergy points that I can see us overlapping or complementing what each other does. And if you can spell those things out, you're going to pique their curiosity enough to at least get on a call with you or to book you for whatever it is that you want to do. Same thing goes with when you're trying to get clients, when you're selling people into your subscription, whatever it might be, is here's who you are, what you struggle with, and why I believe you might be struggling with that. This is basic like copy for newsletters, basic copy for your landing page. And here's what I do. And this has been my journey. And these are the ways in which I could support you with this problem. And here is the top of the mountain. This is where I would take you to if you want to work with me. Easy peasy, right? So the clearer we can communicate these things, the better we can articulate that we understand either the problem of the strategic partner we're reaching out to, and the problem might be the gap that they're not necessarily covering in the work that they're doing with their current audience, and how you fill that gap, and how you could bring your own unique point of view to those people, and why that's beneficial to that person's audience, and bonus points, how you could reciprocate. So, not just having them put you up on the pedestal of their audience. And sometimes that's all people want. People that are building platforms, typically that is how they grow, is they bring other people into their organization or into their ecosystem. They pop them up, and that helps to provide the value so that audience wants to stay. Everybody kind of has their own model. But what we want to do is move into those relationships with clarity. And it's really important. I don't know about any of you, but I am getting a shit ton of terrible podcast outreach emails that are all clearly designed by AI. The people that are reaching out to me are real humans. I can guarantee you that they do want to have interviews and they do actually do real work, but the pitches are so terrible and so clearly AI generated, and it's like somebody has purchased a subscription to a bunch of bots that then go scour the internet and send the exact same style of pitch that just feels phony baloney. And so, the way that old templates did work, say 2 years ago, a year ago even, is like the templates of reaching out to people with these more templatized style outreach emails. Those worked really well then. I would say the percentage wise of those working now is getting lesser and lesser. So we have to stay more and more human, more and more in our heart, and more genuinely authentic and curious about the people that we're reaching out to. The cut and paste template is not going to be good enough this year. So that's where it comes back to real relationships, leaning in. And I tell you, you don't need a lot of relationships to build your dream business. You need a handful, maybe two handfuls of strategically aligned partners and relationships that can help your business absolutely take off. I got a text from Chris the other day, Chris Gilmore from Chris Outdoors, who's a part of this group, and he was mentioning that he's got another new licensing partner that's looking like they're going to sign, and some of these deals that he's closing, these are 5 6 figure partnerships, and same goes with what we're doing with Magic Kids. It's like it doesn't take a whole lot of partners to help you make your base of the income that you need to like cover all of your lifestyle needs, and then everything else is excess. And where the money comes from are the relationships. So relationships with partners, relationships with collaborators, relationships with students, relationships with clients. How do we build relationships? Presence, intimacy, leaning in with curiosity around who are these other people that are on the other side here? How can I support them? How can I serve them? How can we lift each other up? That is all we're really looking for. It comes back to like such basic village like fundamentals to see where that synergistic sweet spot is and what the actual needs and desires of the people on the other end, and can I fulfill on those needs and desires. And so as you're doing outreach, um, just like see how much more genuinely curious and interested in the people on the other side. And then the other piece around communication, your newsletter is going to play a really big role in your revenue this year. And so I just encourage you, put your heart into your newsletter. Um, it's so much more effective than social media posting. And you're going to get a lot more out of it if you're just staying present with your audience and encouraging dialogue when you're sending your newsletters, encouraging them to message you, asking them questions, etc., is going to be really helpful as you move through this year. So that's my little rant on relationships. I'm in it right now, from investor conversations to kid tech company conversations, licensing partners. It's like all of it right now is my day-to-day world, that and making stories. So hopefully this is helpful for you. Anybody have any questions or reflections before we dive into hot seats?